Hello and welcome to jasonnewland.com. My name's Jason Newland and this is Let Me Bore You to Sleep. Is it? Yeah, it is. It's only Monday's boring objects. Blah, 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 blah. Yes, that's a bit rubbish, wasn't it? Never mind. So, Monday's boring objects. Hello. Hello. How are you? Are you well? So, So yeah, this is the first time I've done a Monday's boring objects for a little while. Just a little while. And it's alright. It's alright, isn't it? Don't know what I'm going to talk about though. So yeah, only listen when you can safely close your eyes. I'm here and Vinny is on the floor doing what Vinny does best, which is being Vinny, I guess. Making some sound. There's not much really to update. If you've been listening to my previous recordings, you'll know about Uncle Sausages and apparently his funeral's going to be on the 21st of August, and then his ashes are going to be sent to Northern Ireland, and there's going to be a little parade by the boys brigade in Northern Ireland, in Derry, I think. And that was that is where Uncle Sausages used to be one of the leaders or something, like for years and years. So it's close to his heart and that's what he wanted. So yeah. Other than that, it's just kind of trying to process the whole situation. The last 6 weeks, 7 weeks, whatever it's been. It's been very strange time. Oh yes. And, in that time, as well as my friend being ill and passing away, I also had COVID. It was a very strange period. Yeah, I haven't processed it yet, but I'm not going to talk about that today. I'm just going to do a normal recording, and I'd like to say thank you to all the well wishers, people that have sent me messages on Facebook. Really, really kind of you. Can I get Facebook up on here? Can I get Facebook on my iPad? I don't know how. We're soon going to find out. Yes. Wow. Okay. I got the correct details. Didn't know I had that. I'm logged in on my laptop. And on my phone, just not on my iPad. Didn't know I could. Well, I knew I could, but I just didn't know if I could. If that makes any sense. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read out some of the messages. I'm going to read out all the messages just to let you know that I've read them and say thank you. So I did a recording the other day called Lifting the Fog, Hypnosis for Depression, and Hope wrote, "You've been a busy boy," so thank you. It's okay. Hope also wrote, and this is for a recording I did last Wednesday. As someone who's immunocompromised and has 2 kids who are also immunocompromised, I greatly appreciate your consideration about going to work when sick. I also agree about waiting until the symptoms are gone before testing. Rest. Long COVID is not fun. So thank you for that. I've not been great at replying to... I do read them, I just haven't been great at replying the last week or so. Sorry if it's come across as rude, I don't mean to be. And Christine said thanks for everything I do, so thank you. What have we got? What have we got? So I've been doing a few of the whisper daily things. Just let me bore you to sleep whisper. It's turned into a little routine the last week or so. I don't know how long I'll do it for, but it's not in any way a replacement for the normal ones. So Hillary says, "Hey Jason, know you are going through a really..." This is the 1st of August. "Know you're going through a really rough time at the moment. I just want to say that I'm so happy I found your Let Me Bore You to Sleep podcast. You have been getting me to sleep for 3 years now, and I don't know where I would be without you." So thank you very much, Hillary. That's very kind of you. I do appreciate your kind words. And then I posted a thing yesterday. Uncle Sausages is in sausage heaven. And it was Let Me Bore You to Sleep number 1403. It was a whisper Sunday. So it was yesterday. So I've had a few comments. I'm going to read them out if the iPad will allow me to open it up, which is not for some reason. Let me look. Wow, that's weird. A few more comments. I want to read all of them. All of the comments. Christine, so sorry to hear that. Rest in peace. Thank you. Molly, oh Jason, sending you love. Thank you, Molly. And Susan, sorry to hear that. Thank you, Susan. And Maria, sending you warm wishes and love. He's at peace now. Thank you. Cindy, I'm sorry to hear this. May rest in peace. Thank you, Cindy. Kate, Jason, I'm so sorry you lost your friend. Uncle Sausages was so fortunate to have such a good friend in you, and I'm sure that he knew that. Hugs. Thank you, Kate. John, so sorry about your friend. Thanks, John. Reveal, sent a message. Corina, oh no, that's really sad. Sorry, Jason. Thank you. Vicky, so sorry to hear that, Jason. Thank you. Isabel writes, Mr. Newland, my sincerest condolences for Uncle Sausage's passing. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn this onto the screen so I can see it better. Okay, that's better. I've now got it on the TV screen so I can actually read it a lot easier. Mr. Newland, my sincerest condolences for Uncle Sausage's passing. While the pain... No, that's not what's supposed to be happening. Right, okay. That was not supposed to happen. Okay, my sincerest condolences to Uncle Sausage's passing. While the pain of losing someone... Okay. While a play to you is unimaginable, please please know it's been very clear. I suppose you'll have to read this easier when it's on the screen. My eyesight. Please know that it's been very clear just how much you did for him as a neighbour and a friend. I work with so many people who don't have an advocate in their lives, but you gave them all of that in more by spending all those trips to see him with kindness and consideration. Even the most simplest things like getting him ketchup packets and sugar makes all the difference. And thankfully, he had you to do that for him. I could only hope for someone like you, for all the people I care for as an RN. Take the time you need to grieve. We'll still be here. Thank you, Isabel. It's very kind of you. I'm surprised that you remember about the ketchup packets and the sugar. That was a particular kind of... I don't think he even got to see the sugar, to be fair. I took the sugar for him on the Wednesday and he was asleep. They might be, I don't know where they might just still be in his bag. I don't know. But I brought his next of kin kind of put some stuff into my bag to bring back, and that was just things that I'd given him to use. So I had my iPad, my other iPad, the old one. I set it up so that he had all the sports to stream and Netflix, and just that kind of stuff. So we had movies and, because I promised him, this is something right early on, because he was in there the end of July. I don't know the exact date now, to be honest with you. It was a Friday, he went in July. And it was his birthday on the 4th of... No, June. It was the end of June. So he was in there the whole of July. And he was in there for 6-7 weeks. Not in hospital, but he was, like, overall, he was away from here. I have lost track a little bit, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I can try and figure it out. Let's have a look. Cancel. So he went in May, June. It'd be a Friday, probably the 18th. Friday the 18th, maybe the 25th. So what was it? 1, 2... No, because that's July. How weird. I don't know. June the 20th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 7. Yes, it's about the 20th of June, I think. Could have been the 27th. I think it's the 20th. I mean, all I've got to do really is just look back on my podcasts and I can find out exactly when it was, because I'll have had the date. Hopefully, if it just lets me... Let's have a look. I mean, I have been focusing a lot recently on what's been going on. Oh, wow, okay. So wow. Alright, so I did, from the looks of it, 19th, it was a 20th of June. Yeah, 20th of June, that Friday. Yeah, that makes sense, because I did a recording about him on the 24th of June. That was the first recording. And then I still managed, that was squeaky, wasn't it? I still managed to do like Q&A Fridays and Monday's Boring Objects, Trivia Tuesday for the first couple of weeks. And then, yeah. I mean, even though, when I go back to that, to the date. So, okay. So I saw him on the Friday, right? Since he went into hospital, even though it might seem like I kind of didn't make many recordings, here's how many different recordings I made. I mean, different individual recordings. I know there's more than one of each recording, different various lengths and stuff. But so I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So yeah, I did 25 recordings during his period away. So I still managed to do something, still managed to do something. And since he's gone, I've done 1, 2, 3, 4. So, it's not too bad, is it? I haven't been completely, I don't want to use the word lazy, because it's not really lazy, but unproductive maybe. Although I've been more productive. I mean, the first 10, 11 days or whatever, I was up there every day. Like, every day. Like, without fail. And then I had a day off. And then, I kind of had to slow it down a little bit, because that was a bit too much. But he needed someone to be with him. Suddenly he's like, I thought you said you weren't going to talk about him. I'm not, I'm just... Right. So thank you, Isabel, that was lovely. Robin says, sending love, thank you. Sorry to hear the loss of your friend. I know how painful that can be. Wishing you all the best, Jason. Thank you. And Tammy, sending you love and condolences. May the memories of Uncle Sausages bring you comfort. Thank you. I just actually had a phone call from his friend in Northern Ireland, and he was telling me some funny stories. He's known him for his whole life, pretty much. So, right, so that's... I did a recording earlier, Whisper Monday, and some people were commenting about the whisper ones. They don't like the whisper stuff. Where is it? I can't seem to find them. Oh, Hope on the 30th wrote, missing you, hope you're feeling better each day. Thank you. That was the 30th of July. Also, thank you to Lorraine. Welcome to Lorraine and to. I've kind of not been keeping track of who's joined the Jason Newland's boring group. A little bit out of kilter, a little bit. But welcome to anyone that has. You're very welcome. Thank you. Right, I haven't done a Q&A Friday for... That's weird. What's going on here? I haven't done a Q&A Friday for a couple of weeks now. I will do one this coming week. So, some people have posted comments. Here's one. I didn't really know what to make of this. From Sean. If you had one hobby or talent that you were good enough to make a living at, like afford everything you need and some, what would it be? A professional sport, musician, hypnotist, any activity? Yeah. I wasn't sure quite how to respond to that one, I'll be honest. I was like, oh, okay. I suppose if I was any good at anything, I don't know. I suppose it's not really up to me to sort of say if I'm good at something, because like what I do online would be up to the people who listen to decide whether or not I'm any good at what I do, I would say. Yeah, I don't know. But I will be doing a Q&A Friday this coming Friday. It's Monday now. Where's the I can't find the messages that are on here saying that he didn't like the... A couple of people say he didn't like the whisper ones. And am I going to go back to doing normal stuff again? So... yeah, the answer is here I am. I'm back, kind of. I don't know how long for, but I'm here at the moment. So I come out of that. Yeah, it's... I don't know. I suppose the thing is, with the... Okay, with the... Anything I do whisper-wise, generally is quite popular. Although it's unpopular with some people on the group, it's actually more broadly quite popular. In fact, for the last... Let's have a look. So for the last, let's say, yesterday, I'll say today. Today, so far, the top ones: whisper, 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 whisper. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So like 12, 13 out of the top 20 are whisper ones. If I go in the last 7 days, so Again, the Deep Sleep Whisper podcast has had its number 3 on the list. So Hypnosis for Sleeping Deeply, Let Me Bore You to Sleep, and Deep Sleep Whisper. They're the top 3 podcasts. And over the last 7 days, Whisper Wednesday's number 1. That was last Wednesday. Whisper Saturday's number 4. Number 6, Whisper Saturday, music. The other one was 10 hours, that's just normal hours. 7, Whisper Saturday, 5 hours. Whisper Thursdays, number 8. 10 is 5 hours. Whisper Saturday, no music. So you see what I mean? It's, they're the ones that get the most listens. But the way I see it is I'm not replacing anything, I'm just doing different things. And I like to think see, I tried to explain this the other day. I'm kind of not a different person when I wake up, but I've definitely got a different kind of, it's something, I'm a little bit, got dry mouth, that's what I got. A little bit drink of water there. Yeah. I think it's just my stomach's, God, my body's making some weird noises today. It's very windy. Very windy out there. Apparently we've got some kind of storm coming on. I don't know what. I don't know. I mean, I'd rather it not rain, but then at the same time, if it rains and it's windy, I'm going to get wet regardless because can't use a brolly, an umbrella, in the wind. So there won't be any reason to really be getting particularly annoyed because there's not a lot I could do about it. No, not really. So what should I talk about after talking for an hour? What should I talk about with my Monday's boring objects? I'm not going to talk about hospitals. No thanks. Care homes? Nah. Nursing homes? No. Nurses. I think I might have talked about nurses before. So I've had a few girlfriends that were nurses when I was younger. Most things happened when I was younger. Maybe I've run out of things. Maybe that's it. I've run out of things. There's no more topics for Monday's boring objects. Maybe. Bodybuilding. I'm going to talk about bodybuilding. Now, I used to be a bodybuilder. I was very unsuccessful at it because no matter how I tried, I could not put weight on, which meant I couldn't really put any muscle on because I was so very, very thin. Not an ounce of fat on me. And this is a long time ago. It's not now. And when I was at school, I wanted to be a bodybuilder, and I was buying bodybuilding magazines, and I was a little bit embarrassed about reading them because I'd have them in class, and I was a bit embarrassed that other people would see me reading bodybuilding magazines, so I'd have them, tucked inside Penthouse and Playboy, things like that. I didn't want people to think that I was into fitness. But I was fascinated by the bodies of these big men. And I wanted to be like that. I think partly for two reasons. Well, probably not two reasons. Probably the first reason probably is because I was little and I didn't want to be little. I wanted to be taller and I wanted to be bigger, and I wasn't. And both my brothers were bigger. They're both a lot taller. One's really tall. One's just over 6 foot. The other one's about 6'4", 6'5". I'm 5'8". My dad was big, like a big, strong man, still is. But so I wanted to be like that, and I was this skinny. I mean, when my little brother was 13, he was pretty much as big as I was when I was 21. Seriously, it's just ridiculous. But in fact, possibly bigger, weight-wise. The only way I could put weight on when I was in my early 20s was by growing my hair long. It's ridiculous. Wearing more clothes, heavy jeans. But I think another reason why I wanted to be a bodybuilder is because of the Incredible Hulk. And then when I first started getting into karate, and I got myself a gym, and that was more for fitness anyway, but then I got weights. I saw pumping iron on TV, or I might have got it from the video shop, and I was like, okay, that's what I want to be like. And I was, not only did I have my own gym at the bottom of the garden, bench press thing, barbells, dumbbells, curl bars, as well as a couple of punch bags. So I had some fitness equipment, and I'd go running. It's been a while since I ran anywhere. And I also went to the gym round the corner, which was just round the corner, and I went there pretty much nearly every day. And nothing I could do. Like, I did get muscly, but there's a limit when there's nothing. I mean, there wasn't much fuel going in. I wasn't eating a huge amount. I suppose I did know, but I didn't. At 13, I kind of got a limit to what I could eat. As far as I was eating, but what I needed to do was be eating a lot more regularly, and a lot of protein and stuff like that. And I didn't really understand that at the time. So my main goal, really, I wanted to be a bodybuilder. I wanted to be as big as Lee Haney, who was the current Mr. Olympia at that time, or Rich Gaspari, although I preferred Lee Haney. But then Al Beckles was about 150, and he was placed in the top 10 of Mr. Olympia. I think to this day, it's still the oldest top 10 placement of any bodybuilder ever in the Mr. Olympia. And he was born in 1843. I'm obviously making that up. Last time I checked, he was in his 90s. I mean, just shows you he was in his 50s when he was, this is like 1983, 84, something like that. I remember once, because I had this mirror, because I lived at the top of the floor. My two brothers, the oldest one living to the right of me, the one it was his bedroom, and the other one living at the top of the stairs in his bedroom there, and I had the middle bedroom. And I was on the landing of the just outside the doorway to my bedroom, and there was a mirror quite distant. Well, it's not a distance. It wasn't a long way away, but it was, the other end of the room. And I was posing and grunting, trying to flex my muscles. And I heard laughter. I looked behind me, and then my brother was watching me from the staircase. He was laughing hysterically because I had my top off, and I was like, pretending to be the Hulk. And that was very embarrassing. Not the most embarrassing thing that ever happened, but it was, a bit embarrassing. But I was quite pleased. But what annoyed me is I couldn't get the mass. I could get the, I don't know, definition. Yeah. Because there was not an ounce of, there was like no fat on me at all until I hit 20. Really, when I hit 25, I put on about half a stone. So until that point, I had no weight on me. I had no fat on me the whole time up to the age of 25. I just couldn't put weight on. I tried and I tried and I tried. And I remember when I was 16, I had money for the first time. Well, I wasn't 16, I was 15. Yeah, I was 15, but I was working in a chip shop. And up to September, so this is 1986, up to September, I was getting paid £60 a week to work in a chip shop full time, which was loads of money for me. When I got to September, I went onto the YTS scheme, which was the youth training scheme, and the money went down to £27.30, if I remember correctly, which is just ridiculous. Why did I agree to that? What possible reason would any sensible person take that kind of pay cut? It's like we're going to take 2/3 of your money away, but we still expect you to do the same job. And what they did do is, because I had to go to college 1 day a week, I ended up working 6 days a week to get extra money so I could pay my rent, which was £40 a week. So I think it was the March 1987, so I'd been on the YTS since September. So in the March, I moved into the chip shop, the flat upstairs, and the rent was 40. Yeah, I think he paid me £20 extra to work on a Saturday and some overtime. So I got £47 a week. So I had £7 to live on. And I still kind of can't believe, really, that what a silly. I mean, that was 6 days a week I was working. And well, plus I had to go to college on the other day, so it was 5 days a week, but it was still like a lot. It wasn't the best decision, but that those months leading up, so pretty much the first year really, which wasn't too bad. So from April till March, no, from April till March, from about April until August, however many months that is, May, June, July, or okay, 4 months. It's not a long time, but at 15 it is a long time. I had £60 a week coming in, and it was brilliant. I was rich. And what I did is, because I was sleeping on the floor, well, on a little camper bed, in the living room of my stepmom's mother. So there was 4 of us living in that. It was a 2-bedroom flat, and I was in the living room. So what I did is I started buying my own food and started cooking myself breakfasts, gammon steak and eggs and omelettes, and I was trying to bulk myself up. And no, it didn't work. It really didn't work. And I was eating fish, like boiled fish, I think in the microwave, and chicken, rice. I was really, during the day as well, I was really going for it to just eat. And I was working out, I was, training, but nothing I did seemed to make any difference. I just couldn't put on any weight. I couldn't put on any muscle. I think it got silly. And when I left, I was still going to the gym, which was round the corner from where I used to live. And then when I started living in the flat upstairs, I still was going to the gym. So when I was living in the chip shop, so I was going around the gym during the day, during like my break time in the afternoon, a few times a week. And I got on very well with the gym owner, because I helped to move his stuff into the gym when he first took it over, helping to take the carpet in and some of the machinery, and he basically asked for a hand, because me and my friend were just walking past, because it was just round the corner, and we were just being nosy, like, what are you doing? What are you up to? What are you doing? And he said, oh, it's going to be a new gym. I said, a new gym? What's a gym, mister? I don't know what a gym is. I did know. And I said, oh, okay, cool, because it was downstairs as well, which I didn't know. So it was upstairs and downstairs. I think it had previously been... I'm pretty certain it had previously been a video shop. But I might be wrong. But for some reason I got a memory that it was a video shop. But again, I might be wrong. If it had been a video shop, video like rental, it would have only been for a short time, because this was 1984. So, videotapes in this country were not around for a long time at that point. Video shops and stuff. But it might have been a video shop. I remember in that town there's one, the first video shop was absolutely miles away. But we used to go up there, would walk up there, and loved that place. And then one opened up around the corner, a different corner, when I was at school still. So I used to go in there, and used to let me rent out adult ones, which was good. Although, to be fair, nearly all of the martial art movies were adult. So, and that's what I really wanted to watch more than anything. The martial art ones, kung fu, and the comedy. outside of that, I wasn't really too fussed. You know, if it was a family viewing, then I'd be quite happy for horror and, you know, whatever. But if it was for me, which it was at this point, I was renting it out using my own money when I was like 14 or whatever, and I'd rent out like Steve Martin movies, The Man with Two Brains, and Lonely Guy and stuff like that. And this is before Steve Martin was famous in the UK. It's yeah, it was only really Roxanne that put him on the map here, and he became, you know, well known. I know he was already famous in America, but he wasn't really like a big name here. But I loved his early movies. They were so funny. Made just really, really funny. And what's the other one? Lonely Guy, All of Me. There was The Jerk. But I didn't see The Jerk until probably I was in my 20s or late teens for some reason. I loved Roxanne when that came out. So I just loved that movie. Me. Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid or Plaid. That one's another one. That was in black and white. And then I think when probably 1989, maybe earlier, I got, yeah, because I didn't know Steve Martin was a comedian, so I got hold of his comedy video, Stand Up. That was probably about 1989, which is possibly around the same time as Roxanne. But I think those were his best movies. The really early ones, there was just something. I found them hilarious. I mean, I've not seen them since. Well, not recently. I have seen them since, but not recently. They were so good, so funny. Need to watch them again, I think. What's this got to do with bodybuilding? Alright, okay, blimey. So, So I had that period when I was trying to become... Oh yeah, so I was outside the gym, the new gym that hadn't been opened yet. And the bloke had this big lorry and he was lifting everything on his own. And I think he said, do you want to give me a hand? I said, all right, if you give me free membership to your gym. And he said, done. So I gave him a hand and helped him move carpet in and some of the machinery. And I think I went back the next day, helped with some of that stuff as well. And I got free membership, which was good. I also was a little bit of an advert and told other people about the new gym, because it was kind of out of the way a little bit. So I let the other kids at school know about it and that. So yeah, a little bit of advertising. Probably not much, but a little bit. Because I was a trendsetter. Yeah. I tell you what's weird is, like at school, you had the kids and all the tough kids were acting tough and, you know, throwing their weight around. But I see the same kids in the gym, all kind of competing with each other to lift the heaviest weights. But I'd be there on my own, doing my own thing, and no one ever bothered me. not that they should have bothered me, but no one didn't hassle me, nothing like that. They were just happy doing their own thing. And, you know, I never really been in competition with anyone. I was just attempting to see they were trying to grow their muscles. I was just trying to produce some. I was just like, come on, please, there's got to be some muscles here somewhere. So that didn't. I mean, it worked in the sense of I had muscles, but I was so slim. And then I would say when I was working in this place, and there was a canteen there, and I asked them to make me sandwiches. And I would try and eat every 2 hours. And I started drinking these nourishment drinks, which were kind of like milky, high protein drinks, which were in these metal cans. I don't even know if they're sold anymore, but I used to drink quite a lot of them. And I was always full, always bloated. Did I put any weight on? No. Just it was silly. Honestly, it got really silly. And then 2000, and so at this point I wasn't doing weights anymore, and I wasn't training. The early 2000s, but I still wanted to put weight on. And then I went back to the gym in 1996 when I was a security guard, and I started preparing food, taking it with me, eating every couple of hours, tuna, pasta, chicken, rice, things like that, and protein drinks. So I'd take a flask full of a protein, milk, protein, you know, with powder and stuff in it. And then I was going to the gym. I was doing night shift, and I did put a bit of weight on, a little bit, because I'd already put on half a stone in 95, but that was only, I say only, I was put on to antidepressants for the first time, and I put a half a stone on really quick. So it kind of changed my metabolism a bit. 96, I probably put on a little bit of weight, and I was going to the gym regularly. So, yeah, that was quite good. So I managed to put on a bit of muscle in 96. And then I stopped going to the gym in 97 because I moved away. So I moved to a different part of London, and I was still doing the security, still sitting on my bum for 12 hours. And I put on a little bit of weight. I think I went up to about 11 stone or something, which was really heavy for me. And then as soon as I stopped doing that job, I lost the weight. So it was just a lack of activity. As soon as I started moving around a bit, started doing stuff, I think I got stuck at like 10 stone, maybe 10 and a half. And I stopped going to the gym. I stopped trying to put weight on. I gave up on it really, because that seemed to be my limit. I just I didn't want to be as slim as what I was, but I just didn't seem to be able to maintain any kind of weight. And I gave up the idea of being a bodybuilder. It wasn't really about being, even when I was older, it wasn't about being a bodybuilder. I just wanted to just see what I could do with my body. See if I could make it look or how amazing I could look, how purdy my body could be instead of just hairy. And then about 1999, maybe 98, but about 99-ish, probably 99, I started doing a thing where I did as many press-ups as I could do. Well, not as many, but I think I did like 10 press-ups, 10 sit-ups, and then every day I added one. And I did this until I got to about 120 of each. And I did it every morning. I'm not sure if I did it every evening, but it transformed my body. Like really became really muscular. And I was still really slim as well, but that was probably one of the most muscular I'd been since I was a kid. Because before I was really muscular, but I was like 8 stone or something, like really, honestly, you could hardly see me, but there were muscles there. So this is, I'd say that's probably me with the best body I ever had when I was about 28. And then in 2000, once I hit 30, I put on a fair bit of weight, a couple of stone. And once I put the weight on it, I still wasn't big, not really. I felt big, but I wasn't really. Like 12 stone is not heavy. It just felt heavy at the time. And I was probably 12, maybe 12 and a half, 12, when I started doing the work in insurance in the call centre. And I started, because I moved into the YMCA. I got a studio flat there, and they had a gym downstairs, so I started going to the gym. And it's really weird because I didn't feel any benefit from doing it. It's almost like my body just wasn't reacting to the exercise. And I couldn't figure it out. It's like, what's going on? This is very, very strange. Why is my body not reacting to all of this exercise? And there was no response. I had no response from myself. And I got a little bit disillusioned with it. It's like, this is just a bit rubbish. And I went for a while. The fact is, my body perhaps was responding. I just, not in a way that I wanted it to. Everything just got saggier. No, it didn't. I don't know what I was expecting. Maybe I was expecting the same result as what I got in 1999, when I just, started doing the extra press-ups and sit-ups. And that did not happen. Plus, I was sitting on a chair all day long and in the evening. So I was doing a bit of exercise in the gym, maybe once a day. But, the rest of the time I was very, very stationary. And I was also drinking alcohol, and I was eating probably rubbish food. So I wasn't, really helping my cause. And then in 2004, because I'd gradually been putting weight on over those years, so I was probably about 12 and a half, maybe stone, maybe 13 stone, But in 2004, I went back and I redid that whole adding an extra press up and an extra sit up every day. I was also doing Wing Chun Kung Fu 3 times a week. I'd also stopped drinking alcohol and become a vegetarian. I stopped eating chocolate. So that period, pretty much from the summer, really, it was kind of maybe March to September, I became super slim again, but in a different kind of a way. So I got myself down to 11.5 stone, but I was muscular and slim. So my waist was super slim, but the rest of me I had some muscles. So I was kind of quite pleased with that. So I was a lot bigger than what I was in 1999, in 2004. Same slimness in my stomach, but my upper body was just larger. My shoulders were bigger, my chest, my back. So I was kind of quite pleased with that. And I think a lot of that was to do with the Kung Fu and all the training and stuff. And I remember, and I was also active during the day, because I had this part-time job working in a, like a gift shop run by Buddhists. So I had some activity as well. So I wasn't, I was busy doing stuff. And then in September, I think it was 2004, I got a job in my second insurance sales call centre. And I remember I was standing there. I think a fire alarm went off or something, and I was one end of the room, or it was just really quiet. Maybe it was changing of shifts, or maybe it was at the beginning of the day before the day started. And I saw the managers, and they was outside the other side of the room near the door, and I was standing there with my hands down my pants, and I was thinking, wow, I'm so slim. And when I say my hands, just my fingers, because previous to that, I couldn't do that with my trousers. And I hadn't worn trousers for, blimey, just under a year. I think it was November 2003 was the last time I'd worn trousers. So to wear them again in September, they may have been new trousers, but to be able to stand up and just slide my fingers down without any, they weren't loose as in falling down, but it was just perfect fit. And I thought, wow, I wonder how long this is going to last. And I kind of joked, I was kind of joking to myself, because I really didn't expect to put any more weight on. I thought, I'd worked quite hard, got myself down to 11.5 stone, which was supposed to be my ideal weight for my height. But I don't think it is, considering my build. But I was very slim, but at the same time I was, I felt quite fit. And then I went back to just sitting down on a chair all day long, getting sandwich deliveries as well, so we could eat. So we didn't even have to go out to eat. Be able to eat while we're at work, and then go out and go to the pub, and then I'd be drinking in the evening. Because I didn't drink, the whole of 2004. So I didn't do anything for the first part of the last part of 2004, and then New Year's Eve, all changed. and I went back to that kind of lifestyle. And then probably 5 months after I started working there, 4 or 5 months, I remember sitting down and thinking, oh, I feel a bit bloated. Stood up, went to put my hands down my trousers, and it didn't work. And I was thinking, well, my trousers must have shrunk. But they were indeed my trousers, I could tell, because of the stains. And and the knee patches, wow. I don't know which is worse. And it's like, wow, I can't believe this. And then, I mean, I was there till summer 2007, and I didn't really do much in the way of exercise that whole time. I did lots of walking, but other than that, and I just put some weight on. I don't know quite. I just gradually over time put weight on, and then I went to university. So I kind of, even though 2004, I wasn't really going, it was bodybuilding, but in a sense of just trying to make myself look as good as possible. It wasn't bodybuilding in the sense of, well, there was a mirror opposite the bath in the new place I lived in 2004. I lived in this place for a year before I moved into the Buddhist community, and it was a mirror, and I remember just noticing, because I'd started doing the press-ups and the push-ups again, adding one extra every day, and my chest muscles, my back, my arms, everything was kind of starting to look better. So I was quite pleased with that. And then it just all started to reverse over the next 3 years. And so I'm at university in 2008, and I go up to London, about 2008, probably, 2009, I go up to London, 2009, so I help out in the comedy club for a few months, 1 day a week while I was at university. And I remember I had a big meal. It's like omelettes, chips, beans, bread, probably a cup of tea or a can of Coke, and I felt so bloated, and I weighed myself, and for the first time in my life I was 14 stone, which blew my socks off. Bearing in mind I was 11.5 a few years earlier, so 12, so 2.5 stone I put on in not 4 years, 3 years, something like that. And I was like, wow, really? Really? And I felt huge, absolutely huge. Now, before that happened, I actually started boxing and going to the amateur boxing club in about 2000 and I suppose it'd be 2008. So this would be the end of 2009 that I was 14 stone. So before that I was going to the boxing twice a week, I was drinking protein shakes. I had a boxing bag in the garden where I was living at that time, and I also had weights in my bedroom. So I was working out every day, and I put on, I kind of got quite toned up, which was needed. So really the putting weight on only happened over about a year after I'd done that. So I was quite pleased with how my body was going, and I started doing the extra one press up and one sit up a day, doing that. And the old trusty thing. But what I found more interesting was getting onto the punch bag and, doing that. And I was mainly vegetarian back then as well. Yeah. The weird thing about it, when I hit 14 stone in late 2009, I was surprised. Very, very surprised. Just like, wow. Completely, like, blew me away. Just how heavy I felt. How bloated and how heavy I was. Because I weighed myself in the supermarket. Or was it Boots in Liverpool Street Station? It was like £1 or something. And just, weighed myself. So that was like, wow. Huh? I mean, I was kind of pleased in some ways, just to be able to be heavy. So I always wanted to be heavy, but I didn't feel healthy. And then 2010 came. I'm not sure I possibly put some weight on in 2010, because I know that whenever I've done exercise, whenever I've done, like when I went to boxing, they started commenting on how I lost weight over like a few months. And in 2011, I started going to Taekwondo twice a week. And again, I lost weight there. So, or I lost fat. I don't know if I lost weight, but I lost fat. Even though I've got some pictures of me back in them days, and I was still pretty big. So I don't know what I was like when I first started. I remember once we were running from one wall to the next, and I couldn't stop. And I was behind everyone, so they'd already run back just basically run to the wall and back. So they'd already run to the wall, and they were already back, and I was still running towards the wall, because I was pretty much probably the most unfittest, oldest person there. And as I'm running towards the wall, I hear and I'm losing control. I'm struggling to stop, because you have to basically touch the wall and run back. And I hear all this like, oh, and I'm thinking everyone's worried about me, but it wasn't. It was the wall. The wall itself was scared, because I was running towards it. And in the end, I just basically ran into the wall and ran through it, and there was this big shape of me still there. I think I'm still running. I haven't stopped yet. Yeah, I was a bit embarrassed. Didn't really want to turn back and explain myself. So I kind of got a bit fitter doing that for a couple of years. Again, no bodybuilding, but then I moved when I moved into my other place, I got a punch bag, another punch bag. This is a place before I moved here, and again I used to do weights and do the punch bag, and that was like quite a regular thing. And I'd be doing taekwondo, and I was, say, fairly fit. However, maybe not as fit as I thought, because when I moved here, I was around 16 stone. So bearing in mind, at 14 stone, I felt like a big, massive lump. And when I moved here, I'd gone up to about 16 stone, which could be to do with the medication as well. So that's, possibly part of the reason why I put on that extra weight. Because I don't think I was eating anymore, not really. And then I got some weights here. I got a punch bag in here, so I did a bit of exercise. I didn't continue doing any other martial arts because of my back. My back just was playing up too much, so I couldn't really do that. But last year, I was told by the doctor that I needed to lose weight, and I needed to get my sugar level down, my blood sugar level. So I did, and I managed to lose over a stone. And so far I've kept it off, so that's good. So I'm rolling around. I'm rolling around about just under 15 stone. I kind of between 14 3/4 and 15 stone. So I know this is supposed to be Monday's Boring Objects, me talking about bodybuilding, but that's kind of all I can say really, because I've never really been a bodybuilder. But I wanted to be, and I did try and build my body, but in the end, I don't know what I ended up with. I suppose technically it's still a body, but not so much being built, just being kind of dropped. I suppose if I was made of clay, it's like they got the clay out, they started, and then the bell went and it was time to go home, and I was just left out, and I'm the result of that, if that makes sense. Maybe not. Right, so that's it. I'm gonna go. Thank you for listening. Remember to be kind to yourself, because you do deserve to be happy. Be gentle with yourself. You deserve to feel safe. Lots of love. Bye.